The Grand Plaza Hotel wasn't what it used to be. It was a 12-story building in downtown Chicago, once beautiful but now old and worn. The golden revolving doors had lost their shine, and the sidewalk outside was cracked. But as I held the keys in my hand, all I saw was potential. "Kayla, dear," my Aunt Victoria said in a sweet but fake voice as she stepped out of her shiny Mercedes. "We're having a family dinner tonight to talk about the estate. I hope you'll be reasonable about all this." I turned to face her. She was careful not to touch anything near the hotel entrance. "There's nothing to talk about, Aunt Victoria. Grandpa Joe left the hotel to me." "A bankrupt hotel," my cousin Roy added, stepping out of the car in his fancy suit. "Face it, Kayla, Grandpa wasn't thinking clearly at the end. This place is worthless." Maybe they were right. The hotel had been struggling for years. Guests stopped coming, debts piled up, and the place started falling apart. But something didn't feel right. My name is Kayla Chin, and until last week, I worked as a forensic accountant at a top firm in Chicago. I spent years finding financial fraud and hidden money. If there was one thing I knew, it was that numbers tell a story if you know how to read them. "The family dinner is at 7, Aunt Victoria said as she walked back to her car. "Don't be late, and please dress properly." I waited until their car was gone, then stepped inside the hotel. The lobby was old and dusty, but I could still see its former beauty. Marble floors under worn carpets, dusty chandeliers that once sparkled, and little details that showed my grandfather's love for the place. "Miss Kayla." Manuel, the elderly bellhop who had been here since I was a child, hurried over. "We've been waiting for you. How many staff are still here?" 12 of us, the main team. We didn't know what would happen after Mr. Joe passed. I squeezed his hand. "You did the right thing. Is Grandpa's office still locked?" "Yes, though your cousins tried to get in last week. Mr. Roy said he was checking things for the estate." Of course he did. Grandpa Joe's office was on the mezzanine overlooking the lobby. I used to sit there as a child doing my homework while he worked. He taught me about business, about taking care of guests, and about the hidden stories in numbers. "A hotel isn't just a building, sweet pea," he'd say. "It's a place where people's stories unfold. Our job is to make their stories happy ones." The office door creaked as I opened it. Everything looked the same, the big wooden desk, the shelves of old books, and the heavy safe in the corner. But something was different. The safe door was slightly open. "Manuel," I called. "Did anyone get the safe open?" "No, Miss Kayla." Mr. Roy tried, but no one knows the combination. Your aunt wanted to hire a locksmith, but I told him to wait for you. I stepped closer. It was an old Drummond safe, the kind you don't see anymore. Grandpa taught me the combination on my 16th birthday. Every hotel has its secrets, sweet pea, and every secret needs a keeper. The code was 3 important dates: the hotel's opening, Grandma's birthday, and the day Grandpa paid off the mortgage. As I reached to shut the safe, I noticed something odd, a small gap in the metal. My heart raced. In my work, I'd seen this before, a hidden compartment. Carefully, I pressed on the panel. It clicked and swung open. Inside was a single leather notebook and a sealed envelope with my name on it. "Dear Kayla, if you're reading this, then everything is going according to plan. You've inherited the hotel, and the family thinks it's worthless." Perfect. What my family doesn't know, what I've kept hidden for 15 years, is that the Grand Plaza isn't actually failing. It's doing better than ever. Just not in a way they'd understand. The ledgers on the wall show the numbers I wanted them to see, but this secret book holds the real truth. Before you open it, you need to know why I left the hotel to you. You see patterns others miss. You understand that numbers tell a deeper story. And most importantly, you know that real value isn't always obvious. The Grand Plaza has a secret, sweet pea, one that could destroy it if the wrong people found out. That's why I let everyone believe it was failing. That's why I chose you. You'll see the truth in the numbers. Read the ledger carefully. Then go to room 1207 at exactly midnight. What you find there will explain everything. Love, Grandpa Joe. P.S. Don't go to the family dinner. They'll try to force you to sell. The real answers are in the basement, and you'll need time to find them before they figure out what's happening. My hands shook as I opened the book. The first page was a balance sheet, but not like the ones in the official records. These numbers told a completely different story. The Grand Plaza wasn't just surviving, it was making a fortune. But the money wasn't coming from regular hotel business. At least, not entirely. There were strange codes, mentions of something called Project Legacy, and payments from secret bank accounts. Any forensic accountant would be dying to dig into these records. But it was the note on the last page that sent chills down my spine. The real treasure isn't in the numbers, sweet pea. It's in what the numbers are protecting. Find the basement key. Everything else will make sense then. My phone buzzed. Aunt Victoria, dinner in an hour. The family has a very generous offer for that wreck of yours. I smirked, looking at the ledger in my hands. Sorry, can't make it. Too busy being poor and worthless. I had 6 hours until midnight, and a basement to find. Part 2, Legacy of Secrets. The Grand Plaza's basement wasn't on any official blueprints. I found that out while going through the hotel's records in Grandpa's office. According to city records, the hotel had a regular basement for storage and utilities, but Grandpa's secret ledger suggested something much more interesting. Manuel, I said, finding him at the front desk. Has anyone ever asked about the basement? He glanced around before speaking softly. Only Mr. Joe ever went down there. He had a private elevator in the service area. Your cousin tried to find it last week, but, he grinned. I may have forgotten to tell them where it was. I followed him to a back hallway. The elevator didn't look like an elevator at all. Just a storage closet. But when I looked closer, I noticed a keypad hidden behind a metal panel. And next to it, faintly etched into the surface, were the words, "Every story needs a foundation." Grandpa's favorite saying. I checked my watch, 10:45 p.m. It was time to figure out what Grandpa had been hiding. As I studied the ledger again, more pieces started falling into place. Large payments from Swiss bank accounts, mentions of artifact storage, and a list of guests who paid huge amounts for specific rooms. One of those rooms, 1207. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Roy. You missed quite a dinner. Last chance to be reasonable. Our offer expires at midnight. Of course it did. I turned back to the elevator and entered the keypad code, the same one Grandpa had used for the safe. As the elevator descended, I realized we weren't just going to the basement, it was much deeper than that. We went down at least 6 floors below the street. When the doors finally opened, I gasped. This wasn't a basement, it was a museum. Rows of climate-controlled rooms stretched in every direction, filled with artwork, artifacts, and historical documents. Every piece was carefully labeled and recorded. This wasn't just storage, it was a hidden operation. Impressive, isn't it? I spun around. An older man in a sharp suit stood watching me. I'm Dr. Marcus Klein, he said, your grandfather's partner in Project Legacy. I've been waiting for you. For the next hour, Dr. Klein explained everything. During World War II, countless artworks and treasures were stolen, he said as we walked past paintings and sculptures. Many were never recovered. Some ended up in private collections illegally. Your grandfather found a way to fix that. The Grand Plaza wasn't just a hotel. It was a secret operation dedicated to returning stolen art to its rightful owners. The high-paying guests weren't just staying in rooms. They were being reunited with pieces of their family's lost history. Joe created a brilliant system, Dr. Klein continued. The hotel's losses covered the true mission. The money in secret accounts, insurance payouts for recovered artifacts. And this basement, this is where we document and restore everything before returning it. My mind raced as I thought about the secret ledger, the hidden bank accounts, the coded transactions. It all made sense now. Your grandfather never took money for returns, Dr. Klein added. He set up funds to help families protect and maintain their treasures. I checked my watch, 11:50 p.m. Why room 1207? Dr. Klein smiled. That's where it all started. Go see for yourself. Room 1207 was on the top floor of the hotel. It looked like any other luxury suite until you noticed the hidden details. Behind a panel was high-tech scanning equipment. The bathroom mirror was actually a computer screen. The closet had once held a lab for authenticating artwork and documents. This is where we met families searching for their stolen history, Dr. Klein explained. With this equipment, we could verify their claims immediately. Why did Grandpa keep this a secret from the family? Because your aunt and cousins would have turned it into a business, he said simply. This was never about money. It was about justice. My phone buzzed. Midnight. Roy, time's up. We're filing court papers in the morning to contest the will. This hotel is coming down. I smiled. He had no idea what was coming. Dr. Klein, I need your help with something. The next morning, I sat calmly in the Grand Plaza's lobby as my aunt and cousins stormed in with their lawyers. Kayla, Aunt Victoria said smugly, we have proof that Grandpa was mentally incompetent when he changed his will. This hotel is going to. Actually, I interrupted. We should talk about that. I gestured to a group of people standing nearby. Dr. Klein stood at the front. Meet the hotel's board of directors. Roy laughed. This place is bankrupt. No, I corrected. This place is the headquarters of the Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit dedicated to recovering and returning stolen cultural artifacts. The losses you saw, they were operating costs for a multi-billion-dollar recovery effort. Their expressions shifted from confidence to shock as Dr. Klein handed over the real financial records, proof of the foundation's success. Letters from grateful families, even international awards for the work Grandpa had done. Grandpa Joe wasn't failing, I said. He was doing something far more important than making money, and now his work will continue. Under your leadership, Dr. Klein added, as your grandfather always intended. Aunt Victoria sat down, stunned. All this time we thought. You thought exactly what Grandpa wanted you to think, I said. He needed everyone to underestimate this place to protect its real purpose. Over the next year, the Grand Plaza changed not into something new, but back into what it was always meant to be. We fixed up the hotel, keeping its cover as a business while growing the secret recovery mission. Roy, to my surprise, wanted to help. Once he understood what Grandpa had been doing, his legal skills became useful for handling complicated international cases. Aunt Victoria, after some resistance, became one of our strongest supporters, using her connections to bring attention to our work. The foundation grew, helping more families reunite with lost treasures. Last month, I sat in room 1207 with an elderly woman who had been searching for a stolen painting for 50 years. When we confirmed it was hers, she broke down in tears. Your grandfather did this for my family too, she said. He believed everyone deserves to know their story. The secret ledger now sits in my office, but I've added my own entries. Each one represents not just a recovered artifact, but a family finding closure, a piece of history returned to where it belongs. Manuel still greets guests in the lobby, training new staff to recognize people searching for their past. The basement museum continues to grow, full of stories of loss and recovery. Dr. Klein retired last year, though he still helps with difficult cases. Your grandfather would be proud, he told me recently. You've taken his dream further than he ever imagined. Our family still has dinners together, but now they happen in the hotel's newly restored restaurant. The conversations aren't about money or power anymore. They're about the lives we've helped change, the histories we've helped preserve. Last week, I found a note from Grandpa Joe that had slipped behind the safe. It was written years ago, but somehow it felt meant for this moment. Sweet pea, a hotel isn't just a building. It's a keeper of secrets, a protector of stories. Some stories are written in ledgers, others in the artifacts we guard. But the most important story is the one we create by helping others reclaim their past. You'll write the next chapters better than I ever could. Love, Grandpa. The Grand Plaza stands tall again. To the world, it's a historic hotel. But to those who know its secrets, it's a place of hope, a home for lost stories, waiting to be found. Every morning, I walk through the basement museum before the day begins. Each artifact, each recovered piece of history reminds me, true value isn't in money or property. It's in the stories we protect, the past we honor, and the healing we bring. That's the real legacy of the Grand Plaza. And like every great story, it's still being written.